Good morning, everybody. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place for tips, tools, and strategies, everything that you need to take the hassle out of your hustle so that you can build a profitable business that's fun to run. Today is Monday. We're talking coffee and we're thinking thoughts and we're having conversation. And we're picking up on a conversation that we started last week about how getting things in order will cause overflow. So, uh, Silviana is my co-host today. Terralini will be in just a little bit later. But we want to welcome you, all of you who are watching live and on the replay. We appreciate you. Silviana, you want to give us a little bit of a recap?
Absolutely. So, last week we started off a topic that I think everyone should really have, a checklist for life. I think we kind of discussed overall that does sound rambunctious, but it's necessary, right? And overall,
Mhm.
it's really just the four quadrants of life, right? Making sure that you're healthy, making sure that you're getting rested, making sure that you have exercise, you have a routine, all the things that I think we were realizing that were already founded when we were children, but it's something that now is a little optional as adults, but really we're necessary as children. So we really should be doing it now in adulthood as well as entrepreneurship, because again, they're here to serve us. So I know we talked about order brings overflow. Today, I want to talk a little bit more about your surroundings. I've heard the term birds of a feather flock together. I've heard of the term of, when you're in a mess, you're stressed, that making sure that even just your room, your home itself, is kind of your foundation for the start of the day. Just making sure that everything is already, again, routine, in order. Um, I think for me, I'm a pretty organized person. Let me say that. I'm a pretty organized person, but entrepreneurship can be very difficult, right? And it causes you to kind of go with the flow. And sometimes the flow gets a little messy. And
Mhm.
so I've learned that, it's little things like even making sure that you make your bed every single morning. That is an important principle. I don't know what it does, but it just is a great way to start the day. And I know we even talked about that last time, saying it even is a great feeling when it's time to come home and end the day. Having those two routines, that morning routine and that night routine, is extremely imperative to success.
Right. And so that having things in order, the have what you describe me as a peaceful home.
Yes.
One of the biz chicks that have been with us is uh, Sherry
Stein.
Stein. Thank you. She
Mhm.
talks about having your environment where things are working. A broken doorknob is something that you don't think it's a big deal, but it's always something when, okay, you keep seeing the broken doorknob or you keep seeing something that needs to be fixed. It is actually doing something within you. So get the doorknob fixed. Little things that you have to keep doing. I don't know if anybody is old enough to watch It's a Wonderful Life, and he kept knocking the little ornament thing off the end of the staircase, and it kept
Mhm.
falling and it kept falling and at some point, get the thing fixed, put some glue on it, do something to it, but fix the things that are out of order.
Absolutely. Yes.
Or you
Mhm.
keep tripping over the same corner of the rug. Okay, move the rug, tack the rug down, do something to fix that one little nagging thing that's out of order.
Get
I
yourself
think
organized.
yes. I think too the whole idea of the bed making, Sylviana, is that everyone learns to make the bed uniformly, the same way, the same standard, because there are some routines that just start your day off right. And when you have made that bed, you start with success. It's the first thing you did in the morning. And so it's a success. And you move on from one success to another success. But I like the idea that you use that metaphor because making that bed, I know we talk about it a lot as it being routine, but it's also about uniformity. Some things just work.
Absolutely. And most of the time, I mean, you're doing the same things each and every day. So to, both of your points, be intentional. If you're stepping on that rug every day, you might need to move it. If you have no space in your bathroom to get up and properly take care of yourself in the morning, get organized. Like I think we do dial down the idea that mess is stress, that it really directly affects our mental clarity, and that when we have let's just say a home that's cluttered, typically our mind is cluttered, right? It kind of goes hand in hand. So just making sure that you take the time to just even start with that, making sure that your surroundings is in order. If that is just your room, starting with your bed, do what you can. If you live in a home, making sure that your home is proper, a space where you can be clear. That is a huge thing. I know when I've been most burnt out or most stressed, you could typically tell in my environment, even if it's just your car. It's like, okay, hold on, you know, you
That
know,
part. Okay, the car. I do not like my car out of order. I have two trash cans, and you can buy them at AutoZone or whatever, and they pop up. So I got a little trash can for the front. I got one in the back. I'm like, and the other thing I can't stand is receipts everywhere. When you have to have your receipts, but when they're in the car and they're just, I do not like stuff just out of order. Mark says, what if you're the one little thing that is out of order? Yes, Mark. I don't know how we would fix you, but we need to. I know having the car out of order bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I'm right now trying to figure out how to put the golf clubs, how to put this and keep the trunk. I don't like the trunk being out of order. What is it called when you, like, if you're in business and you got to have your files and stuff, you can put the little file boxes or something that you can
File
put,
cabinets and yeah.
right, but you can put them in the trunk of your car to keep your stuff from
Oh,
kind of spreading all over the trunk,
the
right?
little cubicles that you put, yeah.
Right, cubbies,
Mhm.
preschool cubbies. You know how you used to get a little cubby, and the cubby ain't nothing but a milk crate, and where you can put all your stuff in the cubby and put the cubby on the shelf or whatever. I think I'm going to do that. Have a cubby that if you need to take it in the house and undo it and put other stuff back in it, change it out, and then put the cubby back in the car. At least the stuff is in place
yeah, it
in the
helps with the
car.
mental clarity and the productivity, folks. I think that's what I keep hearing. Like it really does. I mean, like even just making the bed, it may take an extra 5 minutes, but it works with the productivity of the day. That checking that off your box, even to your point of having things organized, it's to again be efficient so that things are not all over the place in the trunk. It's even the small things down to my purse. Like I literally just took out some receipts out of my purse. Like this is because again, I want to get right to whatever I need, right? It's down to productivity. And to Mark's point of what if you're that little thing, I would say it goes back to what we discussed last week. It's that personal routine, right? Before we can start discussing the outer world, which what we're discussing this week, you have to start at the basis. If you feel that it's you've already identified it, which is great, right? Typically, if when your outer world is a mess, it really showcases that you may need some attention in the inner worlds. And that could be, like we said, taking that time to exercise, taking that time to get that peace and clarity, going to the doctor, whatever that may be, whatever may be bothering you. But I would say, to Mark's point, that is what I would do. But I think, I was having this discussion with a couple of entrepreneurs the other day, and I think it's people don't discuss it enough that your outer world really is a reflection of your inner world. Like, when things are chaotic, it's typically because, okay, we need to take some time either to change our routine, make some adjustments, whatever that is.
So by you saying that, we tend to be overwhelmed when we have put so many things on the plate, or you're bringing too many things into the environment. Okay, now you got to do this, now you got to do that. There are some seasons that come with, okay, I'm going to be doing a lot of things right here, and some of the things that I normally would do are not going to get done because of the season that I'm in. That's one thing. But if you are constantly living in a season where you got stuff and you're just running from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing, and none of those things are your thing, that's a problem. And it could be you can see it. People are vying for your time, or that somebody else's project. Okay, we may need to do what Terry talks about, is stop all these things on the plate. Do I need all these things on the plate? Terry, remember what happened when we went to that all you can eat place?
I remember Don Terrell's or something where they had those big chalkboards and there were so many things on the menu. You could not take it all in. And then you could combine things. And it was just overwhelming.
A
And so when I went in there, I always ordered the same thing because I could not, my eyes
process.
couldn't even take in that much space. It was like a panoramic menu. And then they had the nerve to put it on a digital board over here. And I'm like,
That's a lot.
And TJ on Tuesday, she talks about the 31 Baskin Robbins 31 ice cream. I'm like, don't give me 31 choices. Can I just
Go ahead.
not 31 choices? I just need to know that you got, you know, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, toasted almond, something, but 31 flavors, and they all looking at you. So we tend to overwhelm ourselves
mhm.
sometimes.
And then also being in business, what does that mean? How much inventory do you have to carry to keep up all of that?
So yeah, see.
It,
Dr. Tachi said, I'm going to get to Mark's question in a minute because that's going to segue us into another segment. Dr. Tachi said, buffets are our ways. You can never eat that much. Remember that day, Terry, we went somewhere and somebody, okay, they had all you could eat shrimp and crab and some other stuff. And I was like,
Oh, it was terrible. And there were so many smells in this restaurant.
oh my
I couldn't. I just,
and some people had piled their plates really high. And the people who had piled their plates really high, you could see that on their physique, it was kind of the same pile. Okay.
it was reflected in
God.
there. And I mean, obviously they frequented this place a lot because they knew the routine. They knew where everything was.
I
They
was
came here
confused.
specifically for some.
I was confused because I was trying to, okay, how do I order? And then does the drink come with it? Does it not? It was too much. And I was like, okay, can I just get, how do I just buy the regular food?
And I
The
was just
regular food.
overwhelmed by the odors. There were so many conflicting odors, Silviana. You know, you had fried food, you had sushi going, you had people over here doing Korean barbecue, and
It's a lot.
it was unbelievable.
Yes, we are a melting pot in the United States, but we don't need to have everything in the
At
pot.
once. Right.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And then back to Dr. Chachi's saying, master of none. How are you going to be able to cook all that food and
Mhm.
cook it well?
It was a nightmare. Dr. Tajik.
It was. But the best thing that it was, the little orange sherbet and the you know how you get the little ice cream cup with the little wooden
The Dixie
spoon?
cup with the wooden spoon.
That was the best part of the deal. I was like, "Ooh, let me have the orange sherbet. I'm cool," because the rest of it was very confusing. Um, Now we're segueing into the next part of talking about how order brings overflow, getting our finances in order. So Mark's comment here, he says, this is why, as we have discussed, when clients have financial issues, I ask them about their closets. It's all energy. Clutter constructs. Inner condition is reflected in outer surrounding. So if your money is all messed up, what's your closet looking like? Terry, you're saying something, but we
I
can't hear
think he means clutter constricts. Inner condition
is reflected in outer surroundings.
mm, maybe it does mean construct.
Yeah, so you're building something with all that clutter around you. Your money is getting
I think it's definitely necessary. I think as far as the narrative having a checklist for life, I think finances is definitely a huge part of that, right? You got to have some coins in order to operate in this world. It is not free. So I definitely think that people should be focusing more on budgeting for success. I think there's a difference, especially now that I have grown older in adulthood. A budget is simply telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went, right? Some
right.
people are just, especially now that we have, credit cards and we're paying digitally, people, you don't even have to swipe it anymore. You just got to put it right there, put it down. You just touch it, right? They make it so easy that you almost forget that you're making these transactions, right? It's, if not most important, to be making sure that you're making wise financial decisions and making sure that you're being extremely intentional with your money. There's a huge difference between, even if you're working paycheck to paycheck or working client to client, that you're also, having a safety net. No matter, like you said, Ms. T, you talked about inventory. Depending on your business, you have to know your numbers. I always tell my clients that you have to know your bottom line, your fixed expenses. But understanding that a budget is ultimately helping you reach your financial goals.
Going back to the clutter being an indicator, sometimes, like, if you don't want to walk in your closet and you want to go, oh, I don't feel like looking at that right now, that's probably the same thing you're doing with your bills and money.
Oh, that is a good point.
It's like, I can't deal with that right now. And Mark talks to us when we were talking about clutter. I think it was a few months back, maybe last year. Maybe you tackle the one table. There's a table that's just got everything piled on it. Everybody just drops the stuff on that particular table. And then maybe that's the table you start clearing off first. And when you get some sunshine there, then you
Yeah.
work on something else. My idea is I might move the tables to keep people from to keep it from becoming a clutter collector, but doing figuring out like right now I'm looking at something. We've gone from the industrial age to the information age, and we're in the digital realm right now. And somebody told us that paper was going to go away. And I'm
Yes.
looking at all this paper.
I mean, they do ask more now if you want it to be paperless, but paper, what? That is crazy.
Yeah, I'm looking
Paper.
at paper. Where do you put the paper?
Paper is
And
not going
so,
away. Having worked for the government, it seemed like before we went quote unquote digital, we had less paper. I don't know what the mentality is, but the amount of necessary paper copies went up. And I'm like, this is an oxymoron.
so
This is not what you said it was going to be.
because now you have to have a paper telling you how you're going to dispose of the paper.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay. Okay. Or you've got 5 sheets of terms and conditions that have to be duplicated.
Right. So, your terms of service, your privacy practices, and all of this stuff, and it is on a website and stuff, but there is more paper. And I'm like, okay, so I have my little gym area set up and some other stuff set up, but then as I'm working, I'm finding out I don't need a stapler any longer. I don't need certain folders, and so, but I still have these things that when you do your fall business setup and you get your folders and you get the folder labels, and you get all of these things, you set up your office for stuff you don't need. And now it's just, I'm looking at stuff. I went to go do something, and I said, before I go and buy something, let me check. I had these labels, gold foil labels in the in the closet. I was like, wow.
Not even gonna use them. Real cute, but not even gonna use them.
Well,
But
I
that's
was able to use them because I
oh,
thought
good.
I was able to get rid of the last few that I had on this last conference we did. I was like, you know what, we're gonna put that on that, because there's no point in me trying to go buy some more something. But if that's an indicator of maybe do I not want to look at the bill or the IRS notification or whatever, because of the is it blocking? Do you understand what I mean? Financially, a lot of people do not want to deal with their finances, not because it's anything bad happening. It's just that there's so much other stuff happening. When do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, I take the time pretty often. I think I might be a little. People don't talk about finances. I think we're getting more and more open. But I've noticed, even for myself, I've been pretty diligent just because I had to take out student loans. I wanted to make sure that I had good credit. That type of thing. So I've always listened to different podcasts just to understand what I should be doing. Like especially when I first started working, like 401ks and that type of thing. But even on a personal level, I think it goes back to that routine, that organization, that overall productivity. When actually, and when you know how much you have, and maybe even if you can divide that in half and only function on what you need, it puts you in a better position to kind of create a roadmap and be intentional. Like if you want to invest or purchase a home or maybe purchase a studio, if for your business or whatever you want to do, it kind of puts things in place. I typically check my finances maybe once a month. That's what I was doing, like writing down my bills. I used to have a planner, so I'd write down my bills on the day that it was due. But sometimes things happen. So I've even, now that things are so digital, have even gone into practice of looking at my transactions every single month, just making sure that it's everything that I've done, because things happen, right? Like I just went to a car wash the other day and they triple charged me. And I was like, thank God I'm in the routine, right? Thank God I'm in the routine of checking my transactions at least once a month. For businesses, I struggle with, the whole receipt thing too, but I've, tried to do it on a quarterly basis of just making sure that everything is organized. I'm putting things in there so that, the end of the tax year, it's easier, right? So I think these things ultimately are here to serve us, but you're absolutely right. It does take time. But again, it makes you feel better. It makes you feel better when you're out. You're not making impulsive decisions,
It's the making of the financial bed. Make your financial bed. Check your money every month. So,
And do you want to sleep in it? You made your bed. Now you got to sleep in it.
so do do we want to? I was gonna think, I had another thought before the financial bed came up, but having that financial order, you have to establish some financial order. Um, Knowing where your money is going, because you directed it. Terry calls it a happiness plan.
Yes, I do.
Where would you like? You can spend your money wherever you want. There's a lady that I follow on YouTube, and she talks about, she does not cook, so she eats out, but she has a plan for eating out. her money is budgeted knowing that she's eating out. She's because she does not want to cook. And I was like, oh, so she didn't restrict herself and put herself in handcuffs. She just planned out where that money was going to go. And she didn't
Absolutely.
do it willy-nilly. She had the plan. She gets her Starbucks, she gets her lunch at work or her whatever, but it's all planned out. There are other people who, oh my God, and they try to do the bag lunch and not have fun with their food or what. She was like, no, I like taking trips. I like doing different things, but she planned for all that. So her finances that go in, she's planned for that. Now she also rents rooms out in her house. She does other things that bring in income so that she can live the life she wants to live. We should not be living just to have the money stored up in the vault and never use it for anything. That don't mean you spend every dime in the vault, but you are supposed to. It's supposed to be helping you live the life you decided, right? Not
Absolutely.
not
Constrict you.
yes, not be so okay. I can't go here and I can't go there. Well, I don't know. I wonder if I not living in fear with your
Right.
finances, but being free with your financials and having a plan. Somebody was like, I started making my their coffee at home. That's great. If you like making your coffee at home and it tastes the way you want, that's perfectly great. But don't be opposed to buying your coffee. Just put it in your plan.
Right.
Do an extra haircut,
Yeah.
whatever it
And be
is.
right. I feel like what we're saying is be honest. I think a huge part of budgeting, even for myself, is, don't budget for what you would like it to look like. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's easier, especially at the beginning, if you don't have a budget or you just haven't used a budget strategy in a while. Take some time to really look. I think even like, some banks will even tell you, like, okay, you're spending 75% of your money on food or on travel, but look at some of these things and say, okay, I want to continue prioritizing these efforts. So let me again allocate this money towards that, right? Again, knowing
Mhm.
what you can do. But again, if you're in a situation where let's just say you just can't, it at least puts you in a position to say, okay, let me be able to know that I do need my coffee, okay? But I can, maybe get a Keurig, make it at home, so I'm able to save this money so I can travel. No matter where you are in your life, budgeting is here for you. It's ultimately here for you, even if you have the money already, if you're aspiring to get it. The whole purpose of a budget is to help you kind of get a better roadmap of your goals, your wants, your needs. And again, ultimately to tell you if you're under budget too, right? I think that's a huge thing for me. Like you might have all these wants, but if you're under budget, at least okay, I need to pick up some hours, I need to do this, I need to take more clients, I need to sell, maybe do a promotional on my inventory for my business. It's
Mhm.
here to really tell you, okay, this is where I'm at. And I think that's why ultimately some people may avoid it, because ultimately it's a little bit of a reality check. Like, I want this ice cream, I might can't afford it, but let me just act like I can, right? I feel like I've seen a lot of memes about that, like, I'm just going to swipe and check the transactions later, right? So there ultimately it's a decision to want to be more financially accountable. It's a decision to make more wise financial decisions. But to your point, it doesn't have to happen all at once, right? There has to
Right.
be push and pull.
Right,
But you
right. And
always,
it has to be a plan
right,
for it. Mark says nature abhors a vacuum. When you clear the space for more more good comes. When you clear the space for more good comes. And then Dr. Tachi says, yes, getting something like a Keurig or an espresso machine will give you the same quality at home and you'll get the cost per use. Uh, yeah. So I drink Totino for my coffee. It's a coffee alternative because I don't do the caffeine. Just
Mm.
saying. But I get the thing and I make it at home and and um and it's good. Put my own creamer in it and everything, and I can get it when I want to, how I want it, and
Mm.
I don't have to sit in line. And
absolutely. But I know you guys mentioned, was it a happy plan, Miss T?
A
A
happiness
happiness
plan.
plan.
A happiness plan. Can you
So
explain what that is?
I don't call it a budget. I call it a happiness plan because as I work through it, I should be getting happier.
because
You know what I'm saying?
because
I should be paying
be-
something down, making
because
sure I put some fun in there.
right, because just like you said, a budget tells you where you want your money to go,
Mhm,
right? Well, it's just basically a happiness plan. What do I want to do today? Put it on a plan. B- If you want to take the trip to Bahamas, put that in a plan so that now that you are setting aside, this is my happiness plan. I'm going to my happy place. So I'm going to set aside in my savings account. I have a savings account set up for the Bahamas trip. I have something set up for those red bottom shoes. You can have those things. You just need to have a plan for them. You may not be able to go and buy them today, but there's a plan to get them. And
Absolutely.
that's a happiness plan, aka a budget.
And
mhm,
it makes you
But
more inspirational, keeps you motivated. I like that. It's like my dream life, or like you said, a happiness plan. Like I like that. Um, Order brings overflow, folks. So no matter if it's making your bed, checking you're checking your bank account, making sure that you're budgeting, decluttering your room or space. It's overall the same principle, and I think it does take discipline. It does take discipline, but it's so necessary. I just feel like it brings more mental clarity, more peace. You kind of know what you're dealing with all
mhm.
around.
and that's why we're talking about it now. We're going into holiday season, and you're going to be wanting to do a few things. Put that in as a part of your plan. If you didn't do it last year, where I'm going to spend a certain amount for gifts for the family or whatever,
Yeah,
maybe they get a card and a picture,
yeah,
something. I don't know, but then next year you can plan for it if you want to do something more elaborate. Whatever it is, what we're saying is plan for it. Make sure it's your plan for it and not somebody else's plan for it. They're expecting the $200 gift. Sorry, that's not happening. Or maybe it is happening, but what is your plan for the
yeah.
thing? Plan it out.
And I just
And
go
go
ahead. Go ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry. I
No,
just did a
go ahead.
quick check. We're 95 days from Black Friday, and we are 121 days from Christmas. That sounds crazy. I can't believe we're already at the end of August. But anywho, to your point, I feel like in the past I've never had money around these times, and they're supposed to be the biggest time to save, right? But I used to never have money allocated towards that time. So now like, hey, let me create a plan if you haven't had one already for from the beginning of this year. You now have 95, 121 days to get your coins in order, even on the entrepreneurship spectrum. If you want to have a sale or you want to make sure your inventory is where it should be, these are money and, organization kind of goes together, right? And it makes it easier for you to execute in the long term.
Yep. So go ahead, Terry.
I was just going to say, when your money's right, it clears your mind to receive other information because you're not distracted by this so-called budget. But if you think of it as a happiness plan, oh, let me put that on my happiness plan. Oh, okay. It just something happens to your brain when you call it a happiness plan.
When you change the name from budget, I no longer see handcuffs. I
Yeah.
see, possibilities. I'm like, oh, all the stress that normally collects up in here, and you're like, oh my gosh. Now it's like, okay, I need to plan for this and I need to plan for that. I need to
Mhm.
put everything should be on a plan. Every dime should have an assignment. When that money comes in, what will this money be allocated for? Not just woohoo. And
Yeah. And
how
they should every dollar should have a name. Literally every dollar. Even if it's just saving or going for, Christmas allocation or whatever it is, every dollar should have a dime to it. It should just be a willy-nilly spend.
I like that. Every dollar should have a name.
Yeah.
That's your takeaway from today, folks. Every dollar should have a name. What's this dollar's name today?
Mm-hmm.
Savings, Christmas, uh, repayment, Bahamas, whatever it is. Give your dollar a name. Name your dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yes, and declutter your homes and your spaces. Declutter
yeah.
your purse. Just take some time today. Take some time today. And if you have not used a budget in a while, take some time today just for fun. Track your daily expenses just today. Just today. And if it's some things that you do routinely, then you should, take some time also to say, okay, Mrs. Francine, Miss T, Sylviana was right. I go to Starbucks 7 days a week, but just for fun, track just today's expenses and see how you are making your happiness plan come together
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and what you want to prioritize.
Yes, so that's our conversation for today. I think it's a good one going into the new year, and we'll be having some more conversations like this. And we hope you join us again on our next one coming up next Monday. Then Tuesday, which is tomorrow, TJ is coming to give us some marketing talk and some things that's happening in the world of social media and digital marketing. Wednesday, Coach Karen is going to talk about how you can bring profits in daily. Her and Terry always got something going on, and just strategies and some very practical tips. And this is from a woman who sold orange sections. I did not say oranges, I said orange sections. This woman took oranges, sectioned them off, and sold the sections
Oh, wow.
and was very successful at it. So she has some very what unique ways of doing things. So tuning in with Coach Karen all the way from Toronto, Karen, Canada. It, her mind is totally it's different when it comes to monetizing. And then on Thursday, Robin is talking to us about happy, healthy habits because we need to have our health if we're going to enjoy the wealth. And then on
Mm-hmm.
Friday, we will be back here talking about all things ooh, tech and the things that make our world go around where tech is concerned. Monday, September 2nd, is our first Monday event. And we are looking forward to having you come out and spend some time with us. We'll have a special guest to be determined. I need to talk to a couple of people, but we're going to be talking of things that'll help you get your business on point. We'll gather together with other entrepreneurs. Everything that you need to do to help take the hassle out of your hustle. That's what we're here for. So, we're going to connect with some others that will help you as well. We want to thank you for tuning in, and you can be a part of the BizChicks community. You can text Biz to 33777, or you can go to bizchicks.net to join our community. There's no charge to do that. If there is an option, if you want to um, uh, give a donation into BizChicks, I'm gonna call it a donation, but if you invest into BizChicks and use that option, you'll get to have a consultation with us. We'll help you get to the professionals that you need to help get your business up and on its way. Just for you becoming a paid BizChicks, you get a few more perks to help you out. So we want to say thank you once again. Um, Looking forward to spending some more time with you. Remember to follow Dr. Tachi over at indiesoupmedia.tv and ask Mark Ward. Um, Excellent life strategist if you want to talk to somebody about helping get your life strategy together. Two awesome, awesome individuals who are a part of the Biz Chicks community. Happy to help you take the hassle out of your hustle. We will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining us. Ladies, any final comments?
No, I just want to remind everybody about First Monday. And
Yes.
Sylviana, thank you so much. It was just a pleasure coming in here and talking about this particular subject, starting from the bed okay, to the happiness plan.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I was just going to say the same thing. I hope you guys take the opportunity to join us on September 2nd. It's a day after my birthday. So
Oh,
I'll yes, my birthday September 1st. But yes, take some time to go to come, you guys. Every time I've ever attended, I've either met prospective clients, networked with great women, learned new things. I mean, we always have an amazing speaker. It's always great energy. The people at season 52 love us. It's just amazing. Okay. You want to be a part of the BizChicks community. It's a great belt to have, okay, on your shoulder. But I hope I can see you guys on September 2nd. And I hope you guys have a great Monday.
All right.
bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.